Well, away from that, majority of Ghanaian cocoa farmers say they support government's new cocoa price, describing it as fair and backing the reasons behind the reduction despite growing agitation among sections of the farming community. Well, this is according to latest data from Global InfoAnalytics. Let's take a look at the details of that poll that it put up earlier, and it's coming up on your screens right now. We just teased out a bit of it. We'll also be engaging the executive director of Global InfoAnalytics, Mussa Dankwah, shortly. But based on the data they put out, 56% of the individuals they sampled believe that the price reduction is fair. When it comes to the regional breakdown, the region with the highest displeasure is in Western North. Other regions that show displeasure, according to the data, is the Ahafo, the Ashanti region, Bono, Greater Accra, and Northern region. Well, I have with me the Executive Director of Global InfoAnalytics, Mussa Dankwah, join the conversation. We appreciate your time here on the Pulse. I'd like to start with your sample size. How many farmers did you interview for this research work? Mr. Dankwah, you have to unmute for me to hear you clearly.
Sorry about that. We spoke to about 7,500 Ghanaians, of which about 20% of them, no, 14% were farmers. We didn't go looking for cocoa farmers. It wasn't a survey done for cocoa farmers. It's generally among all voters, of which 14% were farmers.
I see. And then let's look at the regional breakdown, the sample size per region. Let's look at how many individuals you actually interviewed and what influenced the results you got, especially from the Western North region.
No, if you look at the report, we put out a summary. The sample size of 7,500 were shared according to the number of voters in each region. So it is proportional, as we've always been doing. Now, what we've done is to disaggregate the data into those who are cocoa farmers. 14% of the sample were cocoa farmers. 20% were family members of cocoa farmers. And 25% were friends of cocoa farmers. Only 41% did not have anything to do with cocoa farming. So if you look at it, about 59% of the respondents had something to do with cocoa farming.
What methodology did you adopt?
Sorry?
What methodology did you adopt in this survey?
It's a random sampling of people across the entire country. But we can look at data from cocoa farming areas, look at the regional data, and you can see how many kind of respondents were engaged in each region if you apply the numbers.
But what informed this poll, though? We know that you mostly would focus on political surveys.
No, we do this from time to time. When there are issues of national importance, we've done that with EC bosses some months back. We did that for the CJ. So when there are issues that are emerging, we tend to test the voters to see what their response are. Indeed, in this survey, we also covered the decision by CJ not to press ahead with the process to remove the EC boss and the deputy, and also of the OSP. So we didn't just go there for cocoa farming.
And so really, looking at the data you have harvested, what key questions did you ask the respondents?
No, we asked them whether they believe that the prices the government has offered the cocoa farmers is fair in their view. And also we asked them whether they agree with the reasoning the government gave for the reduction in cocoa prices. And we asked them whether they will support a government to take a tough decision if that decision is critical for the future of this country. So these are the three questions we asked about cocoa farming and issues.
And how strong is the support really for the government and the new pricing based on the data you harvested?
No, it's not very strong. In terms of fairness, about 44% of all respondents say it is fair.
Okay.
Unfair, 31%. And those who were neutral is about 26%. But if you break the data down into this demographic, that's what we found. 56% of farmers who are cocoa farmers believe that the prices are fair. Only 11% were saying it's unfair. In fact, if you look at the views of people who are family members of the cocoa farmers, that support is much lower across all the other demographics. But among the farmers themselves, it is much higher, which for me is quite intriguing. Perhaps they understand more than we do in terms of the implication of what is going on in the sector.
And did your questionnaire seek to at least get the understanding of why they felt it was unfair?
No, we don't ask why. That's for somebody to put there.
Okay. And then looking at the data you have gotten right now, what should this administration be looking at when it comes to cocoa prices and how to manage the frustration of farmers?
I think there needs to be more engagement, not just around the cocoa growing area, but across the country. Because you could have a section of the people happy with what we've done, others unhappy. So we need to understand this data and see how they can bring the whole country along with the decisions they've taken. What is important here to note is that farmers and indeed Ghanaians are discerning. If they see a rational reason for doing certain action, they back it. And that is why 61% of them feel that or say that if they think that you're taking the right decision, even if it's tough, they may back you.
I see. Thank you so much, Mussa Dankwah, for your time here on The Pulse. Well, away from that, the Electricity Company of Ghana in the Ashanti region has restored full power capacity and stabilized voltage after fixing a major disruption triggered by infrastructure theft. Criminals dismantled parts of at least 8 high-tension towers, removing bolts, nuts and bases, causing violence linking to the Anwomaso box supply point in the area to collapse. The damage forced the ECG to route multiple feeders through a single source, plunging thousands into chronic low voltage, repeated outages from system overloads and limited technical flexibility. Contractors completed the construction on Tuesday and officially handed the restored high voltage line back to the ECG, according to my colleague Ohimin Teria, who first broke the story.
Several communities in the Ashanti region on March 18, 2024 experienced several hours of power outages. The development forced the Electricity Company of Ghana to launch immediate investigations. At least 8 towers stretching several kilometers had fallen onto the ground after some miscreants removed bolts, nuts and the base. The high-tension towers were transmitting power from Anwomaso bulk supply point to the Achankrom substation near Ejeso. Bekwai, Anyankwanta, Kumewu, Antuakuru Mansum Kwanta, Chakubu and Sanfo Aduam were some of the affected areas. Others included Kumewu, Ejeso, Nsuta, Afijase and their environs. The completion of the construction works also coincided with the planned maintenance by ECG, which saw all customers on the broken towers restored to their normal positions. This means residents and businesses in several districts within the Ashanti region can now heave a sigh of relief. Engineer Daniel Mensah Asari is the general manager, Ashanti East.
We have worked very tirelessly to resolve the problem. The problem occurred around the 18th of March 2024, exactly. So as a result of the problem, it's created a situation where we have to manage to feed a lot of feeders through one source. And today, as I speak, I am happy, and on behalf of the entire ECG Ashanti region, we want to say that we have resolved that problem and we have restored the stolen pylons and has restored power supply. What has happened today is going to enable us to improve the voltage that we supply to our customers. It's going to minimize outage and as well give us what we call the flexibility in our operations.
Engineer Mussa Asari has been explaining to Joy News what the restoration means to ECG and its customers.
From today, we can see that customers around these areas, Kumewu, Insuta, Bekwai, Efijase, and its environs, and all those places who were experiencing some form of low voltage as a result of the incident that occurred on the 18th of March 2024. Today we have solved their problem and their voltages are going to improve. When we say low voltage, that is where you are not getting enough of the power or the voltage that you require for a fridge, a light, or anything. Is comparing it to water. Voltage is like the pressure that makes the water to flow. So the voltage was low. Most of our customers who do not often say it's low current. So the fridges are going to work better, the air conditions are going to work better, the fans are going to turn better, and every electrical gadget are going to use in those areas are going to function or perform better.
Meanwhile, Engineer Mussa Asari has commended residents in the Ashanti region for their patience as ECG worked on this capital-intensive project. From Kumasi, for Joy News, Ohiminteria reporting.
Well, the Ministry of Energy and Green Transition has directed the Electricity Company of Ghana to investigate widespread complaints from customers who say their prepaid electricity credit is depleting unusually fast. The directive follows mounting public frustration, with many customers turning to social media to question possible overbilling or faulty meters. In a statement posted on X, the ministry spokesperson Richmond Roxon said the sector minister John Abdullah Jinapo has taken notice of the concerns and ordered the ECG to conduct a thorough investigation and submit a comprehensive report within 7 days. Well, thankfully, he joins us live here on The Pulse with more on this. We appreciate your time. Now, the ministry has identified some of these concerns on social media. Do you at least know why we're experiencing this?
Good afternoon to you and good afternoon to Charity. To be able to ascertain the veracity of the complaint is the reason why the minister has directed that this investigation be conducted by ECG so that we can unravel whether or not these claims are accurate or they are not. And so if we have the information or the basis on why customers are complaining or what these causes are, I'm not sure that would have been true. And so this investigation is supposed to help. Once we get the report, depending on what the findings of ECG, the minister will take further action. And the further actions that he mentioned today, they include compensation if there are faulty meters. Those meters will have to be changed. If we need to recalibrate the meters, that will be done. If the billings reflect what it's supposed to be, I'm sure that decision will also be upheld. And so it's important that we wait for ECG's report to be able to see what the way forward will be.
Richmond, you have to position rightly and speak up so we can hear you a bit clearer. But we're wondering, would this probe be nationwide or will it be centered on those areas where you've received complaints from, at least from social media?
Oh, I'm sure that the complaints aspect of it, but we have people who have complained with Great Accra, but Ashanti region. And so the investigation should be able to where ECG operates.
Individuals, will you be interacting with them? I just want to understand the work of the committee and how they plan to gather their information, which will form the basis of the next line of action for the ministry.
Oh, the direction is to ECG. It's not as if the minister set up a committee. The direction is for ECG to be able to investigate and finish it. As for the modalities, we will leave that with ECG. What the ministry would want is a comprehensive report that covers the scope of what we want to ascertain, and then we'll take further decisions.
When do you expect them to report to you with details of that report?
Within 7 days, maximum 7 days. And so we're expecting hoping that within next week, the minister will receive the report from the CP.
And who are the individuals who constitute this committee?
Like the direction was to ECG, and so I think the minister set up a committee. So the modalities of that will be what ECG has to determine. What is most important for us as a ministry is a report that covers the entire scope of the complaint and what the findings will be.
Found indeed that this depleting, unusual prepaid that we're actually experiencing is as a result of the meters or even as a result of the billing. What then would be your next line of action? Will you be scaling up to other regions or just focusing on the areas where you have conducted the research?
Let's hold on and get the report first, and then the next line of action will follow.
Richmond, thank you for your time here on The Pulse. Well, away from that, let's look at other key issues that are happening. We'll take you to Parliament today. A lot has happened, especially with the upcoming concerns about the lack of beds. We'll be delving into that. That came up on the floor of Parliament yesterday on The Pulse. We're live there. We brought you key submissions from the majority and the minority leaders and key individuals in Parliament. We'll delve into that after this quick turn. You're still watching The Pulse. Please stay with us.